It is a beautiful sunny day. Our protagonist Chen Jiliao is a top student in high school. There isn't a problem in this world that he can't solve. But, right now, he is in a troublesome situation. He has developed a crush on a problematic girl named Xin Xiaomel. Xiaomel hand over her homework to Jiliao, says she has a dungeon run with her guild today.
Jiliao asks if she can bring him along in the game.
She agrees to bring him as she is also in need of a healer. At 8 p.m., they decide to meet at the beginner's village. Her in-game ID is Bursting Sweetheart. In news, an important announcement is made. There's going to be a rare thunderstorm in the city tonight, which is estimated to start at 8 p.m. It is requested for everyone to turn off all household appliances to avoid any accidents. Jiliao can only think about Bursting Sweetheart, walking through the rain. Jiliao has arrived home from school. Mom says, "You are early today and the rain today is quite heavy, so rest for a bit and dinner will be ready soon." He asks Mom if there is any package for him today. She replies yes, she has put it in the corridor. The name of the game is Cosmos, a virtual reality game.
His mom asks him if he have finally started to play games.
He is in such a hurry that his mom has doubt that he might have scheduled a time to play game with someone else, probably a girl. It has started to rain and thunderstorm. Cosmos is the most popular immersive VR online game right now. This helmet allows a nerve sensation to achieve a realistic game experience. He thinks if Xiaomei's probably super strong by now, he is okay with this as it shouldn't be hard for him. He receives a new message from Xiaomei. She has been waiting for him and tells him to get online quickly.
He connects his helmet to the power source and puts it on.
He is ready to go to his first official date. He is then being connected to Cosmos. He has landed in an unknown place. A huge screen appears thanking him for purchasing Cosmos and welcomes him. He finds the game pretty cool. Cosmos is a survival game. Myths and legends from all over the internet have been used to create a world with treasures, miracles and dangers lurking in every corner. Games tell him to choose a class and start a new adventure. Jiliao thinks the healer Xiaomei mentioned should be this and selects the healer. Since it is his first time purchase of Cosmos, he is free to choose an outfit. Since it is their first date, he decides to dress a little more formally.
He selects a suit. He is ready to go into the game.
In the city, the thunderstorm has reached the red warning level, so everyone is requested to properly turn off all household appliances to avoid any accidents. A lightning strikes at the Jiliao house. The Cosmos which was plugged in get lightning, which flows through the wire, and he gets electric shock.
What's happening?
He speaks. His body is flown in the air surrounded by currents. Suddenly there is a loss of power in whole city, and Jiliao Cosmos' helmet drops.
His mother comes to his room to ask Jiliao to take a look why the power is out.
She is confused where he might has gone. There is a lot of monsters. Xiaomei is surrounded by the monsters. Her dresses are torn out.
She shouts, "Someone save me."
There is a bright lightning when Chen Jiliao appears. He apologizes for being late, but there is no need for her to worry as it's all over now. Xiaomei says, "You are my hero Jiliao," and they are about to kiss each other. Jiliao says Xiaomei to slow down as she has so much saliva that it's all over his face.
He has finally woken up in the middle of desert shouting Xiaomei name.
He is not sure what has happened, and if teleportation process were this extreme. He felt like his body was electrocuted, but it was quite comfortable. Seeing his surrounding, he guesses he must have entered the game. This game feels quite realistic. He is sure that first teleportation should be at the beginner's village, but he doesn't see anyone around. He decides to contact Xiaomei first. He enters Bursting Sweetheart in his device, but this player does not exist. He finds this weird. He wouldn't remember Xiaomei's ID incorrectly. He decided to go to the beginner's village himself and meet up with Xiaomei. He has been walking in the hot desert for a while now. He has started to sweat a lot. Did he get it wrong, or is there no beginner's village here? Where was he teleported to? He tries to connect to GM, but his location is not in the service area. He can't even contact customer service. He finds it too strange. He will lose 900 milliliters of sweat every hour when he's in this sort of hot weather.
Getting dehydrated and fainting is only a matter of time.
He's not playing this game anymore. He didn't know that this game would be this difficult.
Xiaomei is still waiting for him, so he should log out first and explain it to her.
He is shocked when the system is unable to log him out.
He tries it many times, but same error occurs again and again.
He is trapped here in this game. Due to continuous error in logging out, he has triggered a mission.
A mission to survive for infinite time.
He just wanted to play a game with Xiaomei, but he is trapped here now. He can't log out of the game no matter what he uses, neither can he contact anyone. 8 hours later, he can't believe that he is trapped in a game, but with the passing of time, he has accepted the fact that he won't be able to exit the game. He found out the mechanics in the game are the same as in the real world.
The nausea and dizziness that came with being dehydrated and the heat were very realistic.
If he continues more like this, the only thing waiting for him is death. If he wants to survive, he needs to find a source of water first. He picks up a limestone. When he was watching a survival show, he found out that most of the limestone exists near spring water, which means there must be a water source in that rocky area. He starts walking when a wild fox monster follows him. He finally found the water inside the cave, runs towards the water, and gulps all the water he can.
It feels so nice to be alive. The monster has arrived outside the cave. Giulio is unaware of the danger, resting in the cave.
He thinks the water problem has been solved, but there's still no way to get out of here. Since it's a game, he believes there should be a hint on leaving this desert.
The map function is only able to show areas that have been explored.
He looks at the system panel. With such low stats and no attack skill, if he were to encounter a monster, the only thing he could do is run. He wonders how he can get a skill by triggering specific conditions.
He checks out what equipment he has and retrieve the item. He is confused that a healer's first piece of equipment is a sword.
Just to be safe, he should have the weapons on him at all times. He pulls his swords, makes a stance and good grip on the sword, aims at the target and slices the rock in front of him.
The hardness and durability of the sword exceeds that of reality.
The wearing down of the sword is also displayed. Seems like everything in this game is visualized. Since there is no more useful information right now, he decides to go out and find some food, otherwise he won't be able to hold on for much longer. He hears a crumple and looks at the sound. He goes toward the noise, finds out that there's so much space in this cave. He decides to investigate the cave properly. He is shocked when he sees a mountain of bones. Why are there so many animal skeletons here, he wonders. He feels like he has seen these teeth marks in a book he has read before. He realizes it's not good to stay here for long and leave quickly. A monster suddenly jumps towards him with its mouth open to bite his head. He dodges the monster attack. It is a desert wolf, level 5. Its strengths are endurance and able to travel 15 km at 10 km per hour in high temperature. Its speed can reach up to 65 km per hour when chasing prey. Its main attack is biting with a force of 200 kilograms, and its weakness is soft abdomen. As there is 3-level difference between monster and Giulio, the monster attack deals a 200% damage. Judging from the attack just now, this monster's speed far exceeds his, and it's impossible to run away. He only has one option left: to fight. He pulls his sword. If he loses, he dies. During his freshman year of high school, he was the president of the Swift Wind Kendo Club, and the youngest one to reach 6th stage Kendo in China. His mother was a fan when she was younger, so she had her own son learn Kendo from a young age. At first, he thought Kendo was easy, but when the actual practice started, he realized that this sport wasn't easy at all. When you face an opponent in a Kendo suit, listening to your breathing and heartbeat while fighting with another, an inexplicable sense of fear will surround you. It may even swallow your body entirely, making it hard for you to react and adapt. And this kind of fear stems from you being weak. The only way to make yourself stronger is to keep practicing and keep strengthening yourself and keep pushing yourself. So, he used all his spare time to repeat movements thousands of times in the dojo with no air conditioning, kept failing many times, kept getting injured, kept training, and kept brandishing his Kendo sword. Even when he became the youngest 6th stage Kendo practitioner in China, he never stopped training. In this world, where the strong devour the weak to reign supreme, you'll never know how horrifying your next opponent may be. But now, the monster is underestimating him. He swings the sword in the wolf neck, but the attack doesn't work.
Desert Wolf swings its tail and hits him. He is through to the rock, putting him in his knee. There is no effect even when it is attacked with a sword. The Desert Wolf has a very strong defense, and attacking places other than the abdomen has no effect. The Desert Wolf runs towards him with the intention to kill, knowing the weakness doesn't change anything. Also, this wolf is way too fast, and every time it attacks, it does so with the intent to kill. If his attacks have no effect, then he can only defend, and this will drag out until he will eventually die. The system shows a low HP warning, but Giulio has a plan. If this plan is effective, it should probability kill this monster. He lets the Desert Wolf bite him. He uses this opportunity to stab in its abdomen. This time, it's impossible for the attack to have no effect. He was finally able to kill the Desert Wolf. He has leveled up to level 5 and gained 25 assignable skill points. After leveling up, his wounds have completely healed. Just like any other game, killing mobs will grant experience, and leveling up will grant skill points that can be used to increase stats. He has activated a hidden shop system, so let's take a look. A whole range of weapons and items are summoned with its description in screen. Aside from weapons and defensive equipment, there are even household and electronic appliances, and they cost so many levels to unlock as well. Suddenly a spell is activated, a lady appears from the spell and points the sword toward him. It's a holographic projection. There are many other spells, and different holographic projection appears which have offense type, defense type, magic type, assassination type, and the last one, service type. He is nervous seeing this useless option. Do they want people to live and hide alone in this stupid place? He has successfully unlocked the daily necessities category. These are the only things he can redeem with his present levels, but this should be good enough for him. He calls the system and tell it to show the skill points from earlier. His status has completely recovered, and so he decides to increase his stats for now. These stats will directly decide his future in this game. The Desert Wolf he killed earlier has strength and speed that were on another level, even though they only had a 5-level difference. If he were to encounter a powerful monster, he'll need to make sure he can get the upper hand in terms of speed and attack power. So, he assigns 5 points to physiques to enhance his HP, 10 points to strength to ensure he will be able to deal enough damage to monsters, and 10 points will go to agility. The effects of skill point added are immediately activated in his body. The feeling of becoming stronger is awesome. He hears a howl behind him. There is more desert wolves left. This is a perfect opportunity to test out the power of his new stats. He decides to wipe out the entire pack of desert wolf today. He cuts the first wolves through its mouth and slices its head. He now has enough attack power to ignore the desert wolf's defense. The increase of these 3 stats also strengthened the swordsmanship ability as well. He jumps towards the wolf and cuts through the head of everyone. He starts killing everyone in the battlefield and have finally reached level 15, gained 24,000 EXP and 75 assignable skill points. It is finally night, and the weather is clear, the temperature is cool, and he have got enough food and water so he can start looking for a way out. He finds a pack of wolves. All of them are dead. Someone throws a wolf with a strike. He gets in a fighting position. He looks up and sees a man holding 2 dead desert wolves. Who is that? The blood of the corpse seems to have been sucked dry, but by who? He realized these wolves weren't killed by a human. He climbs to the rocks, and he cannot see anyone here. The wolves' corpses are still here, so he doesn't think he has made a mistake. He thinks if there are other players like him who have been trapped here. A sudden warning is shown by the system. He turns around and quickly cuts the attacker. The durability of weapon has decreased by -25%. That thing that killed those wolves wasn't a human but a true monster. This is a monster of a completely different magnitude compared to those desert wolves he ran into before. If he didn't have raised his agility stat right after he leveled up, he would have been dead already. The monster has a regeneration ability shocking him. The name of monster is Wandering Dominator and his level is unknown. System informs him that there exist dominators in the Lochnia Desert with absolute speed, the top of the food chain that survives on the blood of other creatures. No one can escape from its hunt. Even though he was already prepared to meet all sorts of monsters here, its fierce killing intent feels like it's pressing him into the ground. rendering him unable to move. It's like waiting to be hunted by it. This is the first time he has felt something so terrifying. The Dominator moves toward him, stretching its hand. Giulia is able to dodge its attack and jumps towards the air to attack it from the sky. He attacks the Dominator in the neck, but in an instant, the Dominator is able to dodge its attack and appear behind him. He gets a powerful blow in his face, throwing him far away. He bounces back and stops himself using his sword. This is the so-called absolute speed the system mentioned about. There is some distance between them, but, in a blink of an eye, the Dominator punches him in the stomach, making him split blood. That blow just now could have taken his life, but he isn't sure what is it trying to do. The Dominator kicks him in his head, making his face stumble in ground. The Dominator gives him his sword. What is its intention? Dominator says Giulia to cut at its neck. This scene feels like deja vu. When a cat catches a mouse, it doesn't eat it immediately, instead it plays with its prey. He attacks its neck, but there is no effect on it. The durability of weapon is 80%. The Dominator is way too fast and ordinary attacks can't hurt him at all. Dominator catches his cloth and raises him to the air. The Dominator says humans are like maggots, such a weak species. Giulia is shocked to see this guy speak. Giulia cuts its hands and keeps a distance between them. Dominator, seeing his cut-off hands, laughs as it has been hundreds of years since he had last met a human that has made him feel this exhilarated. Giulia is quite exhilarated as well. He has not felt so lively and fired up in a long time. His family, his friends, he still has a long life to live ahead of him, and he refused to die in a place like this. He says to wait for me to come back. A light from the sky falls on him, glowing him up. His extraordinary fighting spirit has activated the special blessing of the god Lodnea. All of his stats have been increased by 100. He is in full spirit and is ready to attack the Dominator. Dominator is also excited to says to bring it on. Giulia make a powerful cut and it has made an effect. He uses multiple attacks to cut the Dominator, but his weapon's durability has reached 0% and is now broken and unusable. He throws away the sword and starts punching Dominator in the face, throwing it far away. Giulia is serious on killing the Dominator and taking his experience. But there is no trace of Dominator where he thrown him. The Dominator suddenly appears behind Giulia using its speed and cuts through his chest. Dominator calls him a foolish human. He still can't beat it even with the blessing of God. The Dominator flies in the sky, summons a deadly attack, taking a form like a Grim Reaper, and throws it at Giulia. Giulia is hit by the attack and his HP has reached 0. He have died. In the previous chapter, Giulia died at the hands of the Dominator. If you haven't seen it yet, the link is in the description, or you can find the link above. Giulia is awake. He wakes up on the bed in a beautiful furniture room. He is shocked to find himself alive. Has he logged out of the game? No, that's not it. Where the hell is this place? He thinks. He brings out the system monitor. He thinks, this thing is still here, so he is still trapped in this game, but he was killed by that monster. But here, he is sitting here, perfectly whole and healthy. There are no injuries on his body at all. He has no idea what is going on here. A lady opens the door and enters the room with a bucket full of water. She says, "You awake?" and he replies, "Hello, I just woke up." She calls Grandpa Ubre. He's awake. He is confused. Has the game finally transported him to the beginner's village? Grandpa Ubre is planting in the field when he hears his granddaughter's voice. Giulia explained to them everything that have occurred to him. They are in disbelief he was killed. He explains his entire chest was pierced through and asks how did he get there. The red-haired girl explains, Grandpa Ubre found him while he was hunting. He was on the brink of death, but wasn't completely dead. And this is not the place he calls game or beginner's village he is talking about. Also, they aren't the NPCs or players he mentioned. He finds it impossible to happen. This is still the game's world. They must be mistaken. Right. He shows them the system screen. They stare at the screen. He explains the game's mission tab, status tab, and equipment tab. You can also see the mini-map here.
The red-haired girl asks Grandpa if the monster hit him so hard that his brain got screwed up.
Grandpa agrees, it must have got screwed up pretty bad.
Giulio is still unable to contact the GM, and Xiaomi's game ID is still not reachable.
He has completely lost contact with the outside world. He is furious. How is he going to leave this place? He wants to go home.
Grandpa says no one in the entire Latinea desert can leave.
Giulio asks why.
Even though it is a desert, no matter how big it is, there should still be a way out.
Why is it not possible to leave? And how did you guys get here?
Red-haired girl explains, a few years ago, Grandpa and she ran into a thunderstorm while hunting giant dragons on the Bergama continent, and when they woke up, they were here.
Grandpa said that the place they are right now is called the Latinea Desert.
In the legends, it is said that even gods can be imprisoned here.
The only possible way to gain freedom is by finding the location of the Temple of Kebri.
Countless people have set out from the town to look for the temple, but no one has ever returned alive. Gradually, everyone began to accept this reality and stopped looking for the temple. It is better to keep living instead of setting off to die. Grandpa says to Giulio, each year, new people are sent here, but he has never seen anyone get out.
Grandpa suggests he accept the reality and later, have Salili take his visit around the town. Giulio thinks he is still in the game when a new pop-up alert. This is a new mission.
The Revenge of Kebri's Sorrow. Mission introduction. Since he has been reborn after receiving the god Kebri's protection, he must help the god Kebri undo their seal. Mission clear condition: find the Temple of Kebri in the Latinea Desert, then defeat Nabris, the monster guarding the sealed temple, and release Kebri. Reward upon completion: the key to leaving the sealed land, the Latinea Desert, will be given. Giulio, although he still doesn't know why he was sent here, he is happy that he at least has a goal. As long as he can find the time of Kebri and kill Nabris, he can exit the desert.
When the time comes, he will be able to find a way out.
Giulio is called by the red-haired lady.
She asks him, "Why are you here? I've been looking for you." He apologized. He didn't have anything to do, so he came out to take a walk. He asks, that is the Latinea Desert, right? She replies, "Yes, you could say that."
She tells Giulio that the place they're in right now is surrounded by the Latinea Desert, so the Latinea Desert is all around us. He looks around him and wonders, if that's the case, then he doesn't know how long it will take to find the temple.
She asks if he is going to look for the temple.
He replies, yes, he has to leave this place. She is worried about him. She says there is no temple at all, and if you leave this place, you'll die. He starts moving down the hill and says he has already died once and he must find the temple, no matter what it takes. He tells red-haired girl to let's go into town together, Salili.
They are about to reach the town, and Salili asks him, "Are you going to go look for the temple?" He replies yes.
She explains there are many kinds of extremely strong monsters in the Latinea Desert, and even Grandpa Ubre can't confidently say that he can defeat them. He says to not worry about him as his ability to fight surprises others. A black attack is sent to them, which creates a blast where they were standing. A group of people walk towards them. They say the prey's been hooked.
Giulio starts coughing and is unsure what's going on.
The smoke has gone, and he sees Salili, who has blocked the attack with a wall of fire.
One of them says, "Salili, we meet again." Salili replies, "It's you again, Boban." Giulio asks what's going on and why are they attacking us.
She says that she forgot to tell him that the hunter thieves here are scarier than the monsters.
They aren't willing to hunt in Latinea, so they often steal others' items instead.
They are a group of cowards who are dedicated to hunting and killing their kind for a living.
Boban summons a two-dark magic sword. Giulio wonders what's this skill.
Boban says to Sally, "You ran away last time, but it won't be so easy now." She summons her power of fire and asks Giulio to go back and find Grandpa Ubre.
Leave this matter to her. Grandpa Ubre is near a farm. There is a thunderstorm and lightning, and he wonders if a thunderstorm is on its way again.
He wonders where Salili and Giulio are as they should be back from town already. Here, Boban says if Salili really thinks he'd let Giulio go back and find that old man. He reminds Salili that her spells can't hurt him at all and it's better to just return obediently with him.
Then maybe he'll consider letting this idiot go. Sailali says to think it in your dreams.
Bobin says to not blame him for being rude. Sailali says to Giulio that she'll think of a way to stop them, so leave this place.
He says no. Sailali is confused about what he said.
Giulio says, in my dictionary, the word escape doesn't exist, and although they've only met for a short time, he is not someone who can abandon his companion and leave by himself.
Bobin catches his face and slams him into the tree.
Sailali is worried about Giulio.
Bobin says, "Trash, who do you think you are? Do you think you can trick yourself by saying stuff like that?"
Bobin says here, we never use our mouths to talk, but we use our strength.
Giulio catches Bobin's hand, makes a grip, and takes it out from his head. He says, "Do you think you're strong? Do you use the strength you spoke of to attack me sneakily?" He asks. He punches Bobin in the face, sending him back.
Bobin catches his hand and feels, this guy's strength was able to dislocate my wrist. Giulio has added all of his points to agility, but he wasn't able to sense his sneak attack just now.
Sailali asks if he is alright. She asks Bobin, "What exactly are you trying to do?"
Bobin is furious with Sailali, as he has said so many times that he wants Sailali to be his girlfriend.
Sailali says that's impossible,
and she'd advised him to give up.
Giulio says he's doing everything so nervously and irritatingly just so you can be his girlfriend. Bobin asks if she has found this guy instead.
Did you reject me because of this guy?
Sailali says he's just my friend. What are you talking?
Bobin says, friends.
That's just an excuse, right? Bobin challenges Giulio, come on. Let's have a battle between men. Don't be a turtle and hide your head. If Giulio wins, he'll stop bothering her.
The system has popped up a side mission, Shadow Madness.
The reward for completing a mission is a lost map of Latinea. If he can get the map, then can he leave this place? He wonders. Giulio accepts the deal with Bobin. Bobin says deal.
The two other members of the Bobin gang wonder why's Big Bro so serious suddenly. The air is filled with the smell of vinegar.
Sailali asks Giulio if he is sure about this. He can't beat Bobin as he's the strongest shadow swordsman in town. Giulio smiles, is he even strong?
Sailali explains that swordsmen who use the power of shadows not only have a speed advantage, but their strength is also surprisingly strong. The sword, intertwined with the shadows, has a very powerful force.
Giulio says so what? He has already died once.
And compared to death, he'd rather leave this place. Giulio seriously can't understand how the perfect good life could turn into what it is now. If he could defeat him right now, he can get the map and leave this hellish place. When Giulio punches him, Bobin uses his speed to appear behind Giulio. Giulio uses a hammer kick to attack him, but he easily dodges his attack.
Bobin uses Shadow Clone. Bobin asks Sailali if the person she likes is only this strong. Giulio finds it strange that Bobin keeps defending and not attacking. What trick does he have up his sleeve? Sailali says Giulio that she will go with them, and he should hurry and find Grandpa Ubre and rescue her.
With Bobin's strength, Grandpa Ubre is the only one in this town who can stop him.
Giulio is not going back on his word and leaving Sailali.
Giulio says to Sailali that this battle is the one he must fight, and if he wins, then maybe they can leave this place. Sailali asks him what is he trying to say and what defeating Bobin and leaving this place have to do with each other. Hey, Bobin throws his swords, says Giulio if he is afraid that it's too late to regret it now.
Giulio replied of course not, but you're afraid now, aren't you? Acting like a turtle and hiding around.
Bobin says he suddenly felt like it was no fun to fight an unarmed, worthless piece of trash, that's all, and since it's a formal fight, then it should be fair. Throws the sword toward Giulio, and Giulio grabs the sword.
Bobin says that he doesn't want Sailali and his subordinates to think that he is bullying Giulio.
Giulio says he didn't know Bobin to be a guy who follows rules, he still hasn't forgotten the sneak attack he launched just now.
Bobin says what sneak attack? He did that as a desperate reaction.
Giulio says alright and stops yapping.
Giulio says to continue the battle fair and square then.
In any case, he must defeat him to get the map. Bobin says he will let him see the real strength of the shadow. Giulio stares at him and runs towards him step by step, and the fight continues. Bobin attacks him and Giulio can block him. Salily says Giulio to look out behind him. There is another Bobin ready to attack him. He turns around and blocks the attack behind him. Bobin is prepared to strike him from behind. Not good. Bobin strikes him in the back. Bobin says Giulio to admit his loss. You can't defeat me, says Bobin. Giulio will never admit defeat, and the system informs him if he would like to use the healing function. He heals himself and restores his HP to 100. They realize that Giulio is a priest. They laugh that a priest challenged a shadow swordsman. Bobin says to leave Salily behind and Giulio can leave. Someone who's awakened as a priest is not worthy of being his opponent. Giulio says if he is afraid of being defeated by a priest and getting humiliated in front of Salily. Bobin is angry at his question. Giulio says to stop messing around and start fighting. Bobin decides to show him the real strength of a shadow swordsman. He uses shadow clones. Bobin has split into 3. It looks like shadow swordsmen use clones to fight. He finds out the working principle of a shadow clone, the clone, and the original body can switch positions, which explains how Bobin was able to appear behind him just now. What an annoying occupation to deal with. Bobin says that since Giulio wanted to know his true strength, he will let him experience a shadow swordsman's ultimate attack. Giulio says then, let me meet you halfway. And run towards Bobin. Bobin sends his clone to play around with Giulio. Clone runs towards him, and Giulio blocks the clone's attack. Clone attacks him. He is barely able to dodge his attack and attack back. The clone is so strong that defending its attack is already exhausting, and there are 2 more. Bobin appears behind him and says, by luck earlier, he was able to escape, but this time, Giulio won't be so fortunate. He strikes from behind, and a sword is dropped. Everyone is confused about what has happened just now. Bobin is confused about what is happening and how is it possible to avoid the attack just now. Giulio almost died just now. He had gained a new skill that helped him escape that attack. If he didn't get this skill, his head would have fallen, and he would have seen Yama by now. Bobin is more interested in him now. He escaped once again. The real game begins now. Bobin has underestimated Giulio too much, so he'll stop playing with him. Open your eyes and look carefully. He uses a final skill, Desolate Assault. It surrounds Giulio from all sides. A strike comes to him which he manages to dodge. There are multiple attacks toward him and he dodges most of them. He still gets hit by some of them. Without a weapon, he can't counterattack and the only thing he can do is dodge. Bobin suddenly appears in front of him, and Bobin can strike him and says that Giulio's end is near. Giulio is caught in the attack. He is surrounded by a black sphere. Bobin says to find him a proper grave. White light is seen, shocking everyone there. Grandpa has appeared between them, blocking Giulio's attack with his power. It has started raining, and Giulio is exhausted as well. He is still prepared to fight. Grandpa says Giulio that he should stop now. Salily asks if he is okay. He says he is fine. Grandpa says to head home as a thunderstorm is coming. Bobin laughs at them from behind. He finds it funny. Bobin says if he thinks the Dubre's arrival means he can easily take them away now. Grandpa stops and turns around. He says if he had not intercepted Giulio's attack just now, then wouldn't he have been dead by now? Bobin is not sure. He must be lying, right? He says Grandpa Ubre is spouting nonsense. How can an awakened priest be able to kill him? He would have killed him long ago. He is raged. The system displays the mission accomplished and he has received a hidden key. Giulio is in disbelief that the system determined that he defeated Bobin. Grandpa Ubre says the thunderstorm is coming and they should go now. Bobin's subordinate says to Bobin they should go. They will be screwed if the thunderstorm comes. Bobin says Giulio to come back and continue fighting him. Salily says Giulio to stop staring. The thunderstorm will be here soon. They have appeared home, and Ceylali has started treating Giulio's wounds. She asks him to endure them for a bit longer. She can't apply for the medicine like this. Giulio apologizes as he has inconvenienced them once again. Ceylali says, "What are you apologizing for?" Anyway, he didn't think he was that strong. Giulio asks that Grandpa Ubre and you both knew Boban, right? Ceylali says that Boban and she had grown up together, they were like blood-related siblings before. Ceylali has dealt with all of the wounds. He thanks Ceylali for her help. She says that she should be the one thanking him. Ceylali says she needs to go help Grandpa Ubre and he should rest first. Giulio says okay, go ahead. That day, it rained hard. Giulio starts wondering how Mother was doing. He thinks she's probably feeling anxious because she couldn't find him. He should be able to return pretty quickly though. After defeating Boban and accomplishing the mission, he received the map of Latinea. He just needs to find the Holy Temple by following the map. He'll be able to leave after defeating the boss inside there. He can finally set off after the rain stops. He has received a hidden key. During a battle, mysterious treasure chests of various colors will randomly drop. The colors are white, green, purple, red, orange, and black. By using a key to unlock them, they will randomly drop a gem or piece of equipment that you can't buy from the market. He finds it interesting. He takes his coat, wears it, and he'll be able to leave very soon. Grandpa Ubre enters the room. Giulio says, "You're back." Grandpa Ubre apologized for not checking on him earlier. It was raining hard, so it took time to finish protecting the seedlings. Giulio says it's all right. He asks if there is something you need from me. Grandpa Ubre asks how are your injuries. Giulio tells him to not worry, they were just abrasions, and they will heal in a few days. Grandpa Ubre says that he didn't think he would win the battle against Boban. He is a very strong swordsman in the village. Giulio says that if Boban didn't underestimate him, he wouldn't have had a chance of winning. Grandpa Ubre says he knows Boban's strength, but you can't only rely on just power during a battle. You also need to consider willpower and other factors. It wasn't a coincidence that he won. Giulio asks, since Boban and Ceylali grew up together, how did he become like this? Grandpa Ubre says it's a long story. In the next chapter, Grandpa Ubre says, after the thunderstorm stops, meet me at the hillside tomorrow morning. If Giulio can pass Grandpa Ubre's test, he agrees to teach Giulio.
10 years ago, it was raining heavily. Ceylali and Grandpa had just arrived in Latonia. When they were passing by a house, they saw a strange demonic monster attacking the family. The monster had already killed the host and hostess of the house. Fortunately, their child was still alive. The monster saw the child crying and attacked him. Grandpa was able to save the child using his spell. The monster ran away, but the child was saved. That child was Boban. Grandpa had buried his parents and took Boban with him. Dilao asked Grandpa, if he had taken care of him when he was young, why does he misbehave with them? Gramps says, Boban wants to find that monster that killed his parents, but he has been trying to persuade him to give up that goal and live happily. There are more strong, powerful monsters that we can't even imagine in Latonia. Even they won't be able to defeat that monster. So, he left afterwards. Gramps says Dilao to rest. They have talked for a long time. Dilao thinks, even after getting the map, he must travel through the desert to find the temple. He must face many powerful monsters there. Previously, he was easily killed by that monster. He must improve no matter what. He calls out to Grandpa Uber, and says, can you teach me how to fight? I want to become strong. I want to find the temple. I want to leave this place. Gramps says to just have a good rest for now. Dilao is serious and he have an idea on how they can leave. Boban and Grandpa Uber parted because of this, and was he too reckless for saying that just now? Gramps says to meet his tomorrow in the hills when the thunderstorm is over. If he can pass his test, he will agree to teach him. After meeting Chen Dilao, Grandpa hopes of leaving this place has been ignited again. In the battle before with Boban, Chen Dilao used some terrifying combat skills that, his strongest defensive skill, Thunder Shield, began to break. Maybe this young man really can lead everyone out of here. A system mission pops up, It's a daily mission where he needs to run for 10 kilometers with weights, 3,000 push-ups with weights and 2,000 sit-ups. This mission sounds impossible, but he can't give up. He accepts the mission. Chen Thilao begins his training from tomorrow. He is carrying a log. The log is the required weight by the system. 10 kilometers of running with weights, complete, push-ups with weights, complete, and 2,000 sit-ups, complete. The system had rewarded him with 4 attribute points. He wonders which attribute should he add these points. He decides to add 2 points to stamina and 2 points to stamina. Salali came running towards Thilao. She has brought him the breakfast. She says, "Did Grandpa agree to teach him how to fight?" He says yes. She is excited hearing this news, and she wants to see what kind of abilities he'll awaken. Thilao says he is a priest, so can he awaken other abilities? Salali explains that priest is just the profession that God gave him, and his own element attribute are acquired according to his personal abilities. Just like she is a fire attribute user, Grandpa is thunder attribute user and Boban is shadow attribute user. The profession is just a direction of development. He wants to find out as Cell which attribute he will awaken. There are 5 continents. The continent Salali was on, Polaris, where the human race gathered. To the west of Polaris was the hometown of the Dragon Knight, Megalada. To the north was the continent with eternal winters, with giants, beasts, and abundant spar minerals, Xanthedo. To the east was the continent covered in a dense forest, Bergama. Families of elves who knew powerful magic lived there along with other giant monsters. To the south was Chubitic, the continent where the dwarves with the best forging abilities lived. It was also known as the Edge of the World. Salali says there is a legend that says there is a realm of the gods, and as long as you can arrive at God's residence, you can get an infinite amount of power. She used to think it was just a myth, but after arriving here in Latonia, she began to believe those myths may be true. Thilao says that finding the temple to leave Latonia shouldn't be a myth, so he motivates her that they can leave this place. She happily says yeah. Grandpa has arrived. He didn't think they would wake up earlier than him. He asks Salali if she has finished her confession so quickly. She is shouting at him for saying such nonsense thing. Grandpa asks Thilao if he have prepared himself to accept the challenge. Thilao is ready and confident he can succeed. Grandpa says, at the beginning of creating, gods gave this world different races, different missions, and different professions, and the only thing that is common is that this world was created by the elements. This world consists of more than what you can see or touch. Grandpa starts activating his teleportation array, and says to Thilao, if you really want to harness the strength of elements, he must heighten his perception and truly experience the flow of the elements. Feel their existence. Grandpa explains that he found a habitat for beasts in teleportation array by chance when he was haunting. He hands over his sword, Urziel, which has been his companion in battle for decades. In 3 days from now, he will activate the teleportation array again. If he can use this sword to kill the Beast King and bring its head back, then he'll pass the test. The true strength of the sword can be used only when he has awakened his elemental power. Thilao leaves for the beast habitat and he will definitely come back with the Beast King's head. System pops up a mission of awakening with the Best King. He confirms and the mission start. He is then teleported. Those orcs that Thilao is going to face have incredible defensive power and he will need to master his power of elements to kill the Beast King. The power of the elements will come to him, he is in desperate need for it. Thilao has arrived at the mission location and wonders why is it different from the desert at the beginning. The sand is black and there isn't a single ray of sunlight in the sky. At his current level, it'll be very difficult to defeat the boss, so he thinks to kill some smaller mobs to raise his level first. A red diamond shape has appeared behind Thilao. It launches an attack which Thilao is able to detect and dodge it. He has been noticed so quickly. A level 20 Dotham, which is the most secretive monster in Latonia, has appeared. He pulls out his swords. It can still kill monsters even if you don't elemental power awakened. Thilao starts running towards the monster. The monster attacks with its multiple tentacle which Thilao has cut all. Thilao manages to stab the monster and slice the monster in two. He has defeated the monster and leveled up to 17. There is still a dozen of monsters that are ready to attack Thilao. Thilao has killed all the monster and leveled up. After defeating all the monster there, he has finally reached level 25. On the other side, Boban is practicing. He has been cutting rocks, he is angry he lost to Thilao. Thilao is a priest that doesn't have awakened elements, yet he can emit such a strong attack power that even made him tremble. Boban has never seen Grandpa use that move before. Boban could tell that he could barely stop that blow. Boban wonders who exactly is Chen Thilao. 12 hours have passed already and there's about 60 hours left until the mission is complete. He needs to find their den and complete the trail now. In the Latonia desert village, Salali asks Grandpa, why did he let Chen Thilao go to such a dangerous den? Will he be alright? Grandpa says, do not worry, he has left a mark on the sword, so if Thilao's life is in danger, he'll go to save him. Grandpa leaves for a trip to town and says her to make the meal before he is back. Grandpa knows there is no way to stop Thilao from wanting to leave unless he sees the den and experience the truth of this world, then will he perhaps give up. But for some reason, even though it's an impossible task, he hopes that he can bring back the Beast King's head. If that happens, then everyone will believe that Thilao is the person who can lead them out of here. A god. Chen Thilao has walked for around 3 hours, when he hears some help. A lady and a child are being chased by the monsters. Thilao goes towards them to help. Lady asks him to save them from a monster. A barbaric beast man of level 40 has appeared. It is a low-rank intelligence-type beast tamer of the Latonia desert. It has an ability to summon and control the barbaric giants and command them to attack its enemies. Thilao tells the lady to back off. The beast man level is much higher than those of the monster he has encountered before. He wonders if the woman and her child are transported here just like he and Grandpa were. The woman and his child are scared here. Thilao calm them down. The beast man calls him the foolish, ignorant, and cowardly bugs. The monster who killed Thilao before also called him the same. He wonders why is it always the damn bugs? Beast man orders his monster to kill them all. Thilao manages to kill the monster with ease. Woman and her child are surprised he was able to kill the monsters. He has become quite strong after leveling up. Beast man orders his monster to stop looking like an idiot and go kill Thilao. Seeing his subordinate was killed so easily by Thilao, he escaped from that place. Beast man is furious at them for leaving his like that. He tells them to watch him as he takes care of this bug by himself. Thilao is quick to put his sword around his neck. Thilao says to put his club down and don't move or otherwise his head will fly. He asked Beast man why was he trying to kill them? Beast man says, he is a servant of God if Thilao kills him. His God will curse Thilao for the rest of the life. Hearing this, Thilao hits him with the sword. He says, it'll be the blade next time. He asks Beast man, where is the Beast man nest? Beast man points him toward the mountains. Thilao doesn't think he's lying, it pretty much lines up with what the system has showed him. Seeing that Thilao is distracted looking at the mountains, Beast man quickly runs towards the woman and girl. He has taken both hostages. He is going to slowly twist their necks and suck their blood. This is his true strength. Thilao quickly runs towards the beast man and uses a flying kick. There is another man who is using the same flying kick. Both landed their kicks at the beast man face. Beast man was sent lying in the air. The man praises Thilao for his talents. Not bad, young man. Thilao asks who they were and how did they get here? He says they were transported here 3 days ago, and they were attacked by the beast man. One of his companions were captured by them during the chaos, so they were following the footprints and ended up running into them. He introduces himself as Bros. He is a warrior. This is Falaga, an assassin. This is Rachel, a healer. Thilao introduces himself as well. Bros asked him if he knew why they were transported here. He says he have no idea why they were here, but Beast Man might know something about this. They catch the Beast Man. Thilao calls Rach Idler. Beast Man is surprised when Thilao calls him by his name. Thilao says he has got a few questions for him, so you better be a good boy and answer them honestly if you want to live. Beast Man says his position in his tribe isn't high enough. Based on his knowledge, they are food that God has sent to feed them, and he was simply following God's will. In the town of Delks, Grandpa Uber is standing in front of 4 person. They seem like a high-ranking people. They ask if Grandpa Uber has gone insane. How is he still so naive after so many years? Even if they found the Shire, there is still no way for them to defeat the monsters guarding the shrine. Beside that, if they were to anger God, their entire village will be in danger, so they suggest him to go to Beast Man Cave and kill the Lao right away and beg God for forgiveness. Grandpa Uber says, "Are you speaking of the God who slaughtered us as he wishes and treats us like bugs?" They were sacrificing the innocents who aren't aware of the situation. They were sending people inside the Latonia desert as food for these monsters. Grandpa says, "We both know that you simply glamorize your cowardice so you can live by trampling on the corpses of others." The green hair guy is furious on what Grandpa has said. He says to displace of him in place of God. Grandpa uses Thunder Shield to block his attack and uses Shatter to destroy green hair guy attack. Grandpa says he cannot enjoy peace which is achieved by standing on the corpses of other, and he is going to pick up his weapon to search for a way out of here and protect the innocent. He is going to fight back against the so-called God. The Lao has also realized that their people are alive, and he cannot treat them as just NPCs. He is going to find the Khepri shrine and help them escape this place. In Egyptian mythology, Khefer is the incarnation of the strongest god of the great Enneads, Ra. The Lao check in the map that Khepri's shrine is in the opposite direction they are heading towards. So, what in the world are they guarding? Maybe some other god was sealed here? Bros calls the Lao. They are ready to head toward the beast men's nest now. They have found a safer place to stay at. They are going to leave the woman and kid here. Rachel is going to stay with them. She is a healer, but she can also use magic to create arrays and enhance her elemental power. Rachel agrees to keep them safe and wait for them until they come back. They are ready to head towards their ways. Beast Man suggests them they shouldn't go there. They will be instantly eaten by the higher level beast men. The Lao say Beast Man is scared that he will also get eaten for bring them there, right? Beast Man says he is not a beast man who is afraid of death. Bros says to shut us and start moving then. In the nest of Beast Man, a group of people are being brought in a cage. They are presented in front of the king. They ask what they should do with them. There is a boom in the cage. All the Beast Man near the cage have been frozen. A great mage named Ngamu has arrived to save them all. He is here to kill all these monsters and get them out of here. Today, he is going to make them repent for everything they've done. He uses an ice blade blizzard attack towards the king. The king can block his spell with a green barrier. The great mage shocked what has happened. His body has completely stopped working. All of them are confused what's going on. What is happening here? A green light is affecting him, his eyes, mouth, everything is covered with green light, and suddenly he is blasted in the air. There is blood in everyone's body near him. The beast man King Finiar is level 85, have killed the great mage without moving from his place. Outside the beast man nest, the Lao and his teams has appeared. They can destroy every monster out there. Beast Man thinks these people are all very strong, and especially the Lao. He has become even stronger when he'd first met him. The number of monsters is increasing as they get closer to the beast man nest, and they are gradually becoming stronger too. The assassins point out to the entrance to the beast men nest. The Lao asks beast man Rage Idler if that is the entrance to the nest, but he is not there. He has run away while they were fighting the monsters earlier. Beast man Rage Idler is heading towards the king so he can tell they're human invaders. And maybe he'll be rewarded handsomely. They move toward the cave. They feel strange that they have been walking up for so long and yet they haven't seen a single beast man. They have arrived at the tunnel. There are 3 tunnels, and they must split up. They put a spell called the Door of Fire. They will split up and go different tunnel. If any one of them finds any clues or runs into danger, they need to recite the incantation and the spell will teleport the other 2 to them. They are ready to head towards the different tunnel. The Lao starts running inside the tunnel. He must increase his piece of leveling somehow, but there isn't a single beast man here. When suddenly, he finds a monster. They were eating a girl. These were scavenger ghoul that were abandoned by both God and Hell. They possess a terrifying biting force and are afraid of sunlight. There are a crowd of scavenger ghoul here. All of them growl towards Thilao after seeing him. Beast Man Rach Idler has arrived at the Lord Finiar. He informs that 3 worms have broken in, but they've fallen into their traps just now. Thilao can easily behead every scavenger ghoul. He has eliminated every one of them using his skill and attack. He has annihilated 99 scavenger ghouls, so as a reward, he is now level 14 and his hidden level is 50. Due to this, he have obtained 3 skills. Punishing Light, Sacred Slash and Diving Blessing. He may choose 2 out of these 3 skills. He analyzes the benefits of these skills and chooses a Diving Blessing and Sacred Slash. He is worried how Bros and Falaga are doing. They should have met the same trouble as him, but since there's no indication coming from the mark, he assumes they should be safe. Bros has also encountered the scavenger ghoul too, and he is able to defeat them quite easily. When suddenly he hears someone singing, there is a girl appearing from the mist. She is the one who is controlling all their scavenger ghouls and making them attack. Bros is caught by a shadow, and due to the song, he can't muster up any strength at all. The girl approaches his and starts looking at his stomach. It's been a long time since she had such a tasty worm. She points her nail at his stomach, and she is about to cut it open. Is Bros going to die in such a sorry manner here? That's when Thilao appears. He cuts the hand of the lady and saves Bruce from her. He has arrived just in just. Lady asks if Delic didn't finish him off. Thilao throws the Delic head towards him, and says, he was much stronger than those scavenger ghouls, but he was still an easy kill. The lady is furious seeing her comrade die. She uses his songs to attack them. Bros is trying to warn Thilao about her song, which can paralyze anyone who hears her song. She is about to kill both right here and now, but Thilao behead her using his Diving Blessing. Thilao comments her song is terrible. Immediately, there is an indication coming from the mark, which means Falaga's life is in danger.
What lies ahead for them as they venture into this mystical world? What do you think will happen next? Don't forget to hit the like button, comment if you want to continue this series, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.